But he really didn't have an idea. He had a thought. Because ideas are different from thoughts. Ideas, like thoughts, exist in the mind, potentially or actually as a product of mental activity. You can't have an idea or thought if your mind is not active. Brain waves on a machine that scans the activity of your mind, of your brain, shows an electrical energy in the brain that says this is alive. Electrical energy in the brain allows the brain to do what the brain is designed to do. Create thought, create image, create pictures. Listen, once you have a thought, that is a concept. When you say, sister has conceived, what do you mean? Sister has conceived. What do you mean? She's pregnant, right? Conception is not baby. The conception has all the necessary ingredients to make the baby. But now it needs a period of gestation and growth in the darkness of the womb so that conception becomes a fully developed child, baby, fetus. When thought germinates in the mind, if you don't continue to think on the thought, I want you to hear me. If you don't continue to think on the thought, then the thought without more thought only is a thought that comes and goes. And you will say when somebody else comes up with the thought but thinks on the thought, they stole my idea. They stole my stuff. They making the money and I ain't got none. Dirty, low-down thief. Wait a minute, fool. You don't have any corner on thought. You don't have any specific corner on imagery. Many of you have good thoughts, but you do nothing about what you think. So the thought was an opportunity that you blew because you didn't do by the thought what you should have done. You got to think on the thought. You have to think on the thought. And thinking on the thought is feeding the thought. Then the thought develops into an idea. And that idea has with it a plan, a scheme, a method of fulfilling and concretizing what was a mental image that had potential, but now you want to actualize what you have envisioned. But if you even develop the idea or the thought into an idea and still will not work the idea, then God will give the idea to somebody else who will fulfill the idea and fulfill the vision brought by the idea. The thought brings up a concept. You've conceived. Most people talk the thought, and the thought gets lost. It's like showing the baby before the baby is a baby. Who wants to see a clot but an abortionist? And most times we get a thought, we speak it before we think on the thought. Get it developed. And it must develop in darkness, like the womb of the female, the womb of the mind. Develop your ideas. Then develop the method, the plan of execution. The idea will bring up a picture of the completed thing. The picture is in your brain. You can draw it on a piece of paper. So that
Greetings, listeners. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God. Welcome to the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM on this Saturday morning. I am Brother David Muhammad. And I'm going to be in studio with you up to 9 o'clock this morning. And in a short while from now, I will open up the telephone lines and take your calls on 3420081 and 4665391. And we're on the Facebook page of the Street 919 FM. And you can send text messages and WhatsApp messages directly to me on 3320214. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, going into the second week of the month of May, and what a week it has been so far. Of course, over the last week, since the last time I was on 919 here with you, there have been two updates to our lockdown. One coming just yesterday, the other last week, Thursday. And, beloved, so much conversation has been sparked off, so many reactions, so many responses, so much analysis of the economy and of the education system, questions on whether or not the SEA exams should be postponed, questions about jobs, unemployment, social displacement. But in a nutshell, some of the main announcements that were made yesterday were that, of course, from midnight last night, a summary said everyone should stay at home, and those who can should work from home. Those allowed to open, those businesses that is, must close by 8 p.m. Public transport had to be reduced from 75% capacity back down to 50% capacity. No person should be at a workplace unless specified on an essential list. And the essential list has been adjusted to cut down on movement. All construction to cease. which is another peculiar one, as I don't think we've had a measure like that even last year at the height of the pandemic. Number of people gathering in public places remain to no more than 5. And outside of banks, groceries, and pharmacies, there must be social distancing. Of course, this in addition to the other upgrades to the lockdown restrictions that were made the Thursday before that. So, here we are. And one major difference about now and a year ago, because that's all that we have to go on. I remember very clearly stating a year ago from around now, lamenting over the fact that, well, we don't really have much to compare this time to. There hasn't really been a moment in history quite like this. And the closest that we can get as a comparison was actually the Spanish flu of 100 years prior, 1918 to 1919, at the end of World War I, where there was a mass air transportation exodus of soldiers posted in theaters of war all around the world back to their home countries. And remember, 100 years ago, there was not the kind of air travel that there is now. But you had literally hundreds of thousands of men who were posted in destinations across major oceans, so there was massive air travel. But interestingly, 100 years later, we realize that we're living in a world where almost every single day, basic commercial air travel equals the mass air travel that would have taken place 100 years ago after World War I. So while the the Spanish flu of 1918 to 1919, which killed over 50 million people, while the Spanish flu was linked to that mass air travel right after the end of World War I, this is an everyday occurrence for us in the 21st century. This is how world travel is, and that's just commercial flights. So that's all that we really had to compare this to 100 years ago. But today, in the month of May 2021, we can actually look back to, say, the month of May 2020, or the month of April, or the month of March. And what I guess is puzzling most people is by the fact that we have a situation where 1 year later, and, you know, my personal view is that for the most part, our society has been quite obedient to these lockdown restrictions. I mean, I personally, over the last year, or at least since the law was enforced about the wearing of the masks, I don't think I've seen anyone out in public, even the vagrants, are wearing masks. I can't think of anyone that I have seen personally. Yes, you would have seen those with a little mask on their chin or not properly covering their face and all of that. But to say that I saw, okay, maybe I might have seen one and I said definitely don't remember it, but to say I saw 2 or 3 people without wearing a mask, no. I think I would have really noticed that. You go to all these supermarkets, they have the social distancing space a circle to stand in here, a line to stand behind there. I have not gone into any public place, be it a bank, a store, entrance into a shopping mall, anywhere, without there being some security officer or some member of staff at the door saying, please sanitize your hands, okay, sanitize your hands. And all the time. And not just, but everywhere that I have gone. Yes, you see certain little gatherings and so on, but are those... You drive across some area and you see a group of people gathered together. Is that how COVID is spreading in mass by those particular people? So yes, there are those who are disobedient. Well, we already know about the big shot weddings of 200 people and the so-called private beaches. Okay, right, we know about that. But even them who believe that they have more authority than the government themselves, even those individuals in this society, are they the ones who are rampantly spreading COVID? Well, they're the only ones who are not being blamed for it. So it seemed like a major tone of the press conference yesterday was a battering of the public. I am disappointed in you all. You all have not been following the rules, and because of you all, well, not the local whites, not them, but the rest of the country. Because of you all, this has spiked once again. And I haven't seen that. I have seen a country that has been obedient. All these maxi taxis, Trinidad is a place maxi taxis would leave Port of Spain jam-packed. All right, jam-packed. I know that little side seat that you pull out and sit on. They're not even using those anymore. I mean, all of the churches, the mosques, the temples, the religious houses, all of them. 50% capacity went down to 25% capacity. So, again, this might be just me. I have seen, for the most part, yes, there are the exceptions, but for the most part, I think I've seen a fairly obedient society. Life has totally changed for most of us, but I guess all of us. And even there was a time about a year ago, or maybe more, 11 months ago or so, we were constantly hearing the boasting that Trinidad and Tobago has the best response. We were even mentioned in some other countries that Trinidad and Tobago has the best management of COVID. We're among those countries that are managing their COVID-19 situation the best. Our numbers were the lowest, our infection rates were the lowest, our death rate was very low. And as a nation, we were patting ourselves on the back. And the government was taking a lot of credit for it. That this society is a model society on terms of our response to COVID. Back then, from what I recall, China, of course, China started up when they started with the measurement of countries statistically. China was on top with the most cases. Then America, I remember Italy, and France having very high numbers, and England. And England is about to return to full normalcy. They had some very strict rules as well. And then they had their step-by-step return to normal life. More people can gather together. Some countries are doing experiments. New Zealand had a concert with 50,000 people, no social distancing, no mask wearing. They tested negative for COVID-19. They put them in this space and do it as like a transitional measure to return to normal. England, same thing in Liverpool. It was either last week or about 2 weeks ago. Again, they had this nightclub experience experiment where it was, I think, 6,000 people. Again, no social distancing, no mask wearing. They put 6,000 people in this place and then test them all for COVID afterwards just to ensure that they can have these normal kinds of situations. They're opening back up stadiums to 2,000 capacity, 2,000 persons at a time, and slowly but surely the world is at least beginning to get back to normal. But we have been obedient. We have, for the most part, stuck to the rules. And while we say, yes, there were those exceptions, there were those exceptions in all these other countries that are starting to go back to normal. So now, of course, there are all of these theories. And one major theory is about the Venezuelans bringing it in, and well, I have no idea which it is, but it is confusing. Part of the problem may be the degree of confusion and misinformation, but these are the new measures in place, and we are cooperating fully. We're giving the government the cooperation that they require to manage this situation. I will admit, though, I was a bit taken aback when I saw Stuart Young, who is now the Minister of Energy, and along with his other roles, be the one to make the announcements to the country that the Prime Minister usually makes. What was that about? And to be honest, again, I'm just here to speak the truth. I was not very comfortable with that. Why was Stuart Young given that awesome task to make these announcements that only a prime minister in any other country would make to the public? Why? I wasn't too comfortable with that, but that's just me. And I was a bit perplexed to hear the Minister of Health say he actually cried, he actually shed a tear when he saw people on the Brian Lara Promenade not wearing masks. And I thought to myself, and I put a post on social media mentioning it, how could you cry for seeing people on the Brian Lara Promenade not wearing a mask, but not cry for the several citizens of this country who are homeless, vagrant, sleeping on the street, and eating out of a garbage bin? See, you're not crying for them, but you're crying for someone not wearing a mask? I'm trying to understand the chain of priorities. And well, you know our people, and I have to do a specific commentary on what happens to the minds of black people when they feel that their political party is under the microscope. Black people who love either of these political parties, something happens to us, something happens to our minds when we feel that our political party, the party that we support, is under examination. Because people just go nuts. And African people in politics, trust me, we end up fighting for the rights of all other races to the detriment of ourselves. Another story for another time. But here we are, up until May 23rd. And, of course, we're monitoring on a daily basis the numbers We must keep in our prayers all of those who are suffering and have suffered from COVID-19. I want to say condolences to the family of that beloved brother, Jamie Thomas, of whom I have known for just about 22 years. And he was always such a positive person. And as a matter of fact, when I first met him, and this might sound a bit odd, but when I met Jamie Thomas for the very first time, at first I thought that I had known him from somewhere before that. Well, I did actually, but he was so open, so warm, so friendly, so brotherly, that I remember thinking, well, wait, did we go to school together, or was it? Because he was that kind of brother, and he was always interested in what you're doing. Very, very, very genuine person. And, I mean, in the Christian community, the Christian youth community, he was a shining star. He was not the kind of person to involve himself in any kind of ignorant conversation or, none of that low-life talk. He was a shining star example. And really, he was 46, 47, but he was very, very youthful. And he was a great example for the youth. Listen to him talk, you won't hear any ignorance coming out of his mouth. One newspaper said that he took the COVID-19 vaccine and died afterwards, but apparently this was denied. But I don't see how a newspaper could get that information wrong. But either which way, that was a great one, not a good one, a great one that we lost. And we just have to remain so literally prayerful. Now, let me also say, just before I open up the lines, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak to the entire Muslim community. And tonight is a very special night for all Muslims. Tonight is what is called Laylat al-Qadr, the night of majesty and power, which is written of in the Holy Quran, Surah 97, the night of majesty. Says it was revealed on the night of majesty, a night that is greater than 1,000 years. The angel and the spirit descend in it. Peace it is until the morning. That something great happened on this night. That night is tonight. Of course, the reason that the 9th month on the Islamic calendar, the month of Ramadan, is that blessed month, that sacred month, although there are 4 sacred months outside of the 9th month. But the reason that this month is that special holy month is because it was the month that the first revelation of the Holy Quran was revealed. That was chapter or Surah 96, verses 1 to 5, which said, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, read. Read in the name of thy Lord, who taught man by the pen that which man knew not. Read, and thy Lord is most generous. The first revelation of the Holy Quran, the first instruction, the first order given to man in that great book read by close to 2 billion people on this planet, the first command was to read. It corresponds with the passage in the Bible in 2 Timothy that says, study to show thyself approved unto God. You justify your existence and you make maximum usage of the purpose for which you were created by God by acquiring knowledge. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received that first instruction. Read. The book of Proverbs says, get knowledge, for it is the principal thing. But with all of your acquiring of knowledge, you must also get wisdom and understanding, because knowledge, wisdom, and understanding are an ultimate combination for survival in this world of ignorance where falsehood is constructed to deceive the population. That is how enslavement took place. That is how colonialism happened. That is how barbarism took place. The conquest and persecution and genocide of mass populations. It's all based on ignorance and deceit and lies and wickedness. But truth is that which Allah has used to construct the universe. So when you are a man of truth in a universe constructed on lies by a devil, that truth becomes a liberating factor. This is one of the reasons. It's nothing personal. This is one of the reasons that I don't trust most politicians. You might be a nice person, a good person, a wonderful person, but you must lie to the public in order to do your job that has been bestowed on you by the puppet masters behind closed doors or above the ceiling. It's nothing personal. But that is one of the reasons that I don't participate in that process. But coming back to the holy month of Ramadan. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that this first revelation was revealed in the last 10 days of Ramadan. As I've taught a number of times throughout this holy month, that the Prophet said the first 10 days are the 10 days of mercy, the second 10 days are the 10 days of forgiveness, the last 10 days are the 10 days of reward. These are the days that we're in now. But tonight in particular is very special because the Prophet said the first revelation of the Holy Quran came in the last 10 days. Then he said among the odd days, which gives us 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, and 29th. And then he said in the later half of the last 10 days, which eliminates 21st, 23rd, and 25th, and not being the last, which is the 29th, leaves us with the 27th. Tonight is that 27th night of Ramadan, Laylat al-Qadr. And on this night, for the last a good few years, we have, and all Muslims, most Muslims, would stay overnight together in prayer throughout the night, in discussions, in readings of the Quran, reflections on the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his hadith, his sunnah. And on this night tonight, we would gather together. Now, last year, we did not do it because of the lockdown. But the year before that, we stayed overnight in the masjid area at the Kwame Ture Center, which is named after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad Masjid at the Kwame Ture Center. So in 2019, we stayed over. 2018, we stayed over. And even 2017, while we were building, we stayed over. 2016, I think we would have stayed over as well. Yeah, we did in 2016. But in 2016, all we had was a roof. Oh, these are such beautiful memories. 2016, we stayed overnight. We didn't have any walls on the building. All we had was a roof. I remember there being a lot of mosquitoes there because it was just a roof. We were just under a roof, open the elements, and we stayed overnight on this 27th night of Ramadan. And it was really somewhat painful last year when we could not do it. And I have to admit, more so this year, because we had plans for Eid. We had some of the most magnificent Eid celebrations at the Kwame Ture Center for about the 3 years before last year. And the community comes in, we prepare food. It's literally a miracle how everyone gets food. It is a miracle, trust me, because you see the amount of people, and then you look at the amount of food and you say, this is not going to make it. But everyone, it's such a beautiful experience. And remember, Islam is not just a religion or a way of life. It's part of our African heritage. Because of the 10 tribes that came over here, the 10 African tribes, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Coromantee, Rada, Temne, Mandingo, Congo, Fulani, and Asante. 3 of them, the Hausa, the Mandingo, and the Fulani, were Muslims. And our embracing of Islam under the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who reintroduced us to our Islamic heritage as African people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is the teacher of Malcolm X, of Muhammad Ali, and of Minister Louis Farrakhan, a man who inspired Kwame Ture. After Kwame Ture met with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he became a proponent of black power. He was marching along with Dr. Martin Luther King as the head of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. That's a whole other history for another time. But this is part of our African heritage. And so tonight is that night, the 27th night of the holy month of Ramadan. And Thursday is Eid. So for the second year straight, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we won't be having the Eid celebration. We won't be staying over for the 27th night of Ramadan either. But tonight, actually, the Nation of Islam in Chicago is having the event, and we are going to tune in. We're going to connect with that webcast from Chicago. So we're still going to be one family, one community. All right, beloved, I've said enough, I think. So I'm going to open up the telephone lines. 342-0081 and 466-5391. And let me say to you on the road, please be careful on the road. Driving down this morning, yes, the road was empty. Yes, the road was empty. But there was a lot of water on the road. It was very wet. And, you know, I had to drive significantly slower. So, let's go. Caller, good morning. Oh, boy. Caller, can you hear me?
Good morning, David Morgan.
Yes, good
Hello?
morning. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I listen to what you're speaking about there. I want to say blessed unto you and blessed unto all African people of Trinidad and Tobago
Yes,
and the wider Caribbean around the world. Everywhere I drive, to the gas station, to the grocery, wherever, I see people walking on the side of the road, they're wearing the mask. They go to the pump to put gas into the car. They wear the mask, they wash their hands. I don't know if all gas stations have it, but the one by the Hoketa lights there,
Yeah.
that gas station have some things like sinks and have sanitizer, they have
everywhere
soap to wash your hand and all that. They wash their hands when they finish using the pump. Everywhere I go. Yes, there is 1 or 2 people you might see walking with a mask on their face, and they might have it just below the nose, because some people really can't have that on the nose and breathe properly. Some people suffer with asthma and all that now. So, you know, but that's 1 or 2 people doing that. But this loud outburst about people not wearing the mask and all that, I think that is really above. I'm really above what they are thinking there. And they want to blame it on certain people I don't want to blame this whole COVID thing, you understand, on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It was not the people in Trinidad and Tobago who invented COVID. You understand? And the people who invented it in a lab, you understand, and release it onto the world, if it exists at all, which I actually don't believe. I just wear my mask, I sanitize my hand, I do social distancing and all that. I follow all the protocols in the grocery, wherever. I actually don't believe there is something called COVID. But I does it because I know how funny people is and how they think. But I want to say one thing this morning. We all so busy about blaming each other about how it's spreading in Trinidad and Tobago and all that. The simplest drug I could go into the drugstore and buy, which is a Panadol, you don't have to get no description for that. If you take too much of that, it has side effects. And side effects means it could actually create another sickness in your body. Now, the question is this, what they're not asking the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health. What is the side effects after you take the COVID vaccine? Does it have any side effects at all? Because I have a family member working in certain hospitals. I wouldn't call the name of the hospital in which district. And for the past week, or week and a half, the people who is doing, because that family member is doing ECG. And these people and them, all the people coming in have one complaint alone. All of them, over from one day alone, there was 100 and something people. All of them are suffering with the same complaint, pain in the chest. Why is that? What is the side effects with these vaccines, what they are taking? They are not asking the proper question and they're not asking the intelligent question. All they just blame it is just wearing the mask, not washing their hands. What proof them have all over Trinidad and Tobago to prove that people is not washing their hands and social distancing?
All right, well, thank you.
Coming on the radio,
yeah.
One people coming on the radio and saying these things because they might see one person walking down the road with a mask below the nose, or two persons in town, or three persons in town, and think the whole country is doing that, and they blame the whole country for that.
Right, that's one of the awkward parts about it. But thanks a lot for your call. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes. 3 billion people have to die. Yeah, 3 billion before that COVID started. And if big people watching India were going on, I'm glad that plenty people dying there and less will die here. So people, all about people don't wear masks. Plenty people, so like noticing that man talking. Right? But real people have to die. And let's pray to the different in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I guess what is alarming to many as well is that there are people who will testify, including the Prime Minister, that they simply don't know how they got it. They sanitize, they wear masks, they observe the social distancing and still get it. There's a story as well about someone testing both positive and negative out of the same sample on the same day. So there's, as with everything, especially in the field of medicine or pharmaceuticals, infectious diseases, etc., there's always so many unanswered questions. Caller, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Eid Mubarak.
Oh, yes, Eid Kareem.
Yes. I would say you felt the tears as
well. Oh, my apologies.
When I heard of the tears, he pulled aside and he shed a tear. He destroyed an African young woman's career for nonsense. Something that you could have taken aside and said, listen, this, you should not have said this and so on. You destroyed it and didn't bat an eye. You went to sleep that night cool and comfortable. But you passing on the promenade and you shed a tear. All you had to do, you are the minister, call the closest police station and say, listen, come out here and get the people moving. Or that should be standard procedure on the Brian Lara promenade, especially where you always hear people singing there and they're drinking and so on. have a police presence up and down ever so often. Come on, move on, move on. But no, that was tears of joy because you want to see COVID spread among certain people. And that was the people there on the Van Lara Promenade. So when I heard of this tear of joy, I said, my God, the post that, oh gosh, what it is, the doctor who comes on when they have the press release, they can't remember the position he was, the chief medical officer, I think it is. The position he is holding, before he got it, it was reported that there was an African up for that position. Next thing you know, a lot of charges, trumped up charges was against the man, and he was booted out. Lo and behold, who was at the helm? The same crybaby, the same person who shed a tear was at the helm of the trump-up charges against this man. What came out of it? Nothing. But you crying when you see people on the promenade. All the time people on the promenade homeless, all through Port of Spain. The disparity of the dispensation of wealth in this country is anything for somebody to spend their life crying about. But you crying because you see that was so. I am seeing this man more and more, and I don't want people to think that but it's painful to see when you're seeing somebody for really who they are, and every time he opens his mouth, it's coming straight out because he has two coats that he wears, that he pretends in one thing, and the African people, he would stab them and jam them in the back all the time, every chance he gets. Thank you, Brother David.
All right, thank you. Next caller, you just have a few seconds before the break, but go ahead.
Glorious praises, glorious love.
Greetings.
Strength and blessings.
Yes, sir.
The TW is on the 4, so if you don't hear, we will feel. That's the love of this COVID-19, the chicken white variant 19. My brethren, you just stay safe with them, you know. All right.
All right, thank you so much, my brother. All right, so we're going to pause for our break, and then we're going to come back for the 8 o'clock hour. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Just take a time from the inside. From the inside of me. Yes, of me and me, you delight. I want you to delight in my life. Inside, yes. Right from the inside, yes, of me, and set me on fire.
Get mom in the right frame of mind this Mother's
Greetings and blessing in the name of our wonderful Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm Valentine Garcia.
And I'm Nikki Garcia. And we would like to invite you to listen to the Final Hour broadcast every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 in the morning on the street 919 FM radio.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. Our church is situated at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. Services on Sunday are from 8:30 a.m. for Sunday school and 9:30 a.m. for morning worship.
Please be sure to tune in and prepare to be blessed.
My life, I lay it on the altar as my life.
a vision for your physical eyes, and through the eyes of faith, let healing arise in your mind, body, and spirit. At Natural Heal Ministries, we teach kingdom principles for living that brings the blessing of God to your mind, body, and soul.
NHM Professional Associates are located at number 10 Moody Stewart Street, Monrepos, San Fernando. For more info, contact Dr. Desmond Phillip at NHM on 349-3494.
NHM Professional Associates can be heard live on the street 919 FM every Saturday from 9:05 to 9:55 a.m.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
So there's a need for brotherhood.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is demanded.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential, it is urgent, and it is compulsory. But the time demands brotherhood. Whenever the dominant white society fears for its economic future, racial tensions are always aggravated. The aim of Almighty God is to bring the black man and woman together. The aim of Almighty God is that we, no matter how divided we have been in the past, must experience unity in order to gain the success that we seek and the progress that we desire. There is no way that a divided people can build a future. Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. So there's a need for brotherhood. But if you walk the earth proud and arrogant, you never learn your lesson because you think you already know. And how the hell could you know and be in the shape that we're in? How can there be any brotherhood if there's not even the honoring of a word?
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
But the Quran and the Bible bear witness that the heavens and the earth were created with truth.
Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential.
All right, welcome back and welcome to the second hour of the Black Agenda. Here on the Street 919 FM, we're continuing to take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391 on this very special day, Tonight is the 27th night of the holy month of Ramadan, but note, today is not the 27th day. Today is the 26th day. Tonight is the 27th night because the month on a lunar calendar begins in the night. So the month of Ramadan begins in the night. So the first night of Ramadan is followed by the first day. And then after the first day, at the end of the first day, comes the second night, and so on and so forth. So tonight is the 27th night, where Muslims all over the world would stay overnight in the mosque in celebration of that night, the night of power and majesty, that the first revelation of the Holy Quran was revealed. And so Thursday is Eid, inshallah. And let me say, we have cut down on our hours, official hours at the Kwame Ture Center. From now till the 23rd of May, we're going to be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, of course, we're going to be there on many times in between, such as this morning. But officially, Tuesdays and Thursdays, all right? So if you drive by and you see us open, you see our doors open, of course, you're welcome to visit. But just Tuesdays and Thursdays. And our health clinic, led by Dr. Desmond Phillips, is just going to be on Thursdays for now, just until May 23rd, as we have our health clinic every Thursday and Friday. So we will just be doing the Thursdays for the health clinic and Tuesdays and Thursdays for the office, and Saturday mornings, not for very long though. I'm going to be there on Saturday mornings. And also our lessons program, the community lessons intervention program CLIP, where we're doing 7 CSEC subjects for our second year. Like I said, we have doubled the enrollment from last year, and we are starting that in June, inshallah. Of course, we're monitoring all of the announcements and the updates and the restrictions, but our lessons program will begin first week in June, inshallah. And also that announcement that we made regarding the Youth Academy, the Kwame Ture Boys Academy. It's actually a boys to men academy, which we have been doing so much planning for. We've spent so much hours in meetings, our committee meetings, and that was scheduled to be launched on June the 5th. But again, we're monitoring everything. And this is a life skills, manhood training academy for our young men. We're looking mainly from ages 12 to 17. We also have a category of young mentors from 18 to 25 years. We have 4 directors and a committee of 26 black men, professional black men, motivational, inspirational, good role models, great examples. We have a doctor, born and bred in the Laventille community, became a medical doctor at age 25. We have a young lawyer. We have a police officer, soldier. We have young teachers. We have businessmen, contractors. Mainly our people who grew up in the heart of the East Port of Spain and environs community. And every male adult in the organization must bring in 2 youth to become part of the structure. And we grow, we expand, we network, we reach out. And more, beloved, more and more I'm realizing that this is the time for working. You know, yesterday in those discussions about the COVID-19, there's so many people out there who are talking. Yes, okay, we have to talk. We have to talk. But it's better to be told, well done, rather than well said. And we live in a society where many try to compensate for their lack of action by just talking about the problem, lamenting over the problem, but not trying to solve the problem. This landscape that we live on, this Trinidad and Tobago society, it's a haven for scandal mongers, backbiters, and bad talkers. And you see, on social media, you have those cowards on social media who set up fake profiles under fake names and just badmouth and scandal monger and evil talk all day long. And people who are like that are the same people who come to meet you face to face and put on a smile and then hide behind some fake name and just talk and talk and talk and talk. But Allah gives an analogy in the Quran. It's like they're trying to put out the light of the sun with their mouths. Someone evil speaking of you all the time like that, to try to destroy the works that you do, is like someone standing on earth and trying to blow at the sun. You cannot do it. And in this day and time, especially with our youth, okay, so we just launched the book, Black Youth at Risk. And let me say, we now have, as of yesterday, all three of my books, Black Studies, Knowledge is Power, and Black Youth at Risk, all three are now available as downloadable PDF files. So you go onto the website, www.blackagendaproject.com, and you make the purchase there at a fraction of the price of the physical book, and it downloads straight onto your tablet, onto your iPad, onto your phone, onto your computer, onto your laptop, whatever mobile device or device you have. You can purchase the books. They download immediately onto your device. So they're all available now on the online store on blackagendaproject.com. Of course, you could also order the books. We were caught abruptly. We had the book launch scheduled for last week, Saturday, which we had to cancel, but we still did the book signing. And thank you so much to all of those who came out to purchase the book and who attended the signing. And we did it one by one. We were in the conference room. I was with some of my brothers, and people were coming in one by one at a time, came into the building, sanitized, wearing the mask, social distancing, put your name and address for contact tracing. So we're able to manage this. Of course, we also had to postpone the African Expo number 7. And again, in spite of the fact that we had to postpone African Expo number 7, hopefully to the first week in June, again, we're listening out for the announcements. We had a meeting, and we have decided that we will be finding other ways to expose the businesses of those who are normally part of the African Expo, even if it means doing features of businesses one at a time, or 2 at a time, or 3 at a time throughout our auditorium. We have to survive, beloved. So we're going to do this. You see what happened with Price Mart yesterday? To me, just about maybe 2 or 3 hours before the press conference, there was this post going around that Price Mart and these membership shopping stores are going to be closed until May 23rd. And by the time the press conference started, Price Mart was back up and running, open once again. That's power, beloved. That's power. Someone made a call, someone had a conversation. You can't close down Price Mart. It was open right back up, just within hours. You see, that's the kind of power that we can have too, but we use it all to pull each other down, backstab and bad talk and backbite each other. They use their power to consolidate it as strength and put it forth as a lobby. What do we use ours for? All right, so let's go back to the phones. 342-0081, 466-539. Call, are you there?
My brother teacher.
Yes, good morning.
Blessings, man. Goodness unto you for those words I heard from you this morning. The first 10 days, the second 10 days, and the last 10 days is reward. Ain't it?
Yes.
In the month of Ramadan. Yep. The reward is
Mercy,
knowledge.
forgiveness, and reward.
Yes. The reward is knowledge. Like when the first revelation was passed, knowledge I was talking about. Right? Now, our mindset, I don't know if it's the system, I don't know if it's greed, I don't know. But our mindset is off. It have some people, anything you tell them, they jump at it. You understand? No. The teaching of life, I will say life, is that a lot of people not ready for it yet. Them just some material things and, you know, the feel of the argue and the quarrel and the pull on, you know, that's life. And, you know, knowledge, that's what you give an ignorant man knowledge, you will just destroy it. So we need to get our mindset. No. A little thing like the African doctor where the minister never stand up for. That is injustice. Right? But what we watching on the streets, as you say, brothers eating from dustbin, homeless people. These are the things we have to watch at. You understand? I mean, the young lady living in a house there, she eating, she drinking, and she can get her next. Correct. But what about the brothers and the money? As Jesus said, fox have holes, goods have nests. But man here have no resting place. You see, Jesus and them, these brothers and them never had no resting place. These move from tongue to tongue, preaching and giving people knowledge, you know. And that is what it's like for. But the people on the streets in these times, my friend, is being neglected. They wouldn't worry them because they're not teaching nobody nothing. They're not bringing us wise. They're not getting us wise. They're not giving us knowledge. So they just leave them to die. This COVID now, Russia was the first country from autopsy as well as least to that woman from Canada. I never saw before, but we has least something. So she was telling me Russia is the first country that from autopsy on a COVID body. They cut the hand, the foot, everything they examined. And everything was blood clot. Now, they're showing us by the blood clot. Once the blood is clot, you will the oxygen to go to your brain. It will be hard for you to breathe, right? Now the saying is that the COVID is not the COVID, but I was going and she was telling about her name. I'm sorry, but I forget the name she called. What the virus is. Now, if we check this thing deeply, no. We cover my eye and my mouth. I mean my mouth and my nose. People getting their eye, as they say just now, people get it and they sanitize and everything, and they don't know how to get it. What about your ears and your eyes? How they're not talking about it? How do you listen? I'm not talking about your ears and your eyes too. But if you're not going to mask, you can get charged for $1,000. You know, because you're not talking your mouth and your nose. Your ears, it's like they're telling you, you can leave your ear open because it has something to block the COVID from going down, or your eyes. This thing is so deep that they're trying to our mind. We're not hearing different stories about this sickness and this sickness. All disease and sickness, billions of people die from then till now from it. You understand? I mean, we are accustomed washing our hands and things when we done, you understand, sanitizing, whatever. Why the government don't have trucks to be passing through areas and spraying some of the sanitizer, whatever, to kill the germ, what is in the air? Why they don't do that? And they're talking about people with no masks and things. They want a mask, but your eyes and your ears still open. Get trucks to spray all the areas. You know, they're not doing that.
Yeah.
But it's trying to charge you $1,000 for a mask. This is real ironic, I'm telling you. This is not easy. People who are not working and they're trying to get a dollar. I mean, the state of our law, you can't vend. You can't do vending. Why it is a man can't come out and sell a sea drink on the corner or whoever, or a bottle of water, take a gun to his family. I mean, all I look at this thing is it's a fight against the poor.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, caller. Good morning, caller. Are you there?
Let me say good morning to you, Brother Mohammed.
Good morning.
And I want to thank you for last week saying that you will not be having no callers going at each other. I want to support that 100%. That if a caller call in and make a contribution, you shouldn't call in to try to later the caller, but make your contribution and move on. I support it and I hope you hold up that. So I can make a contribution without anybody coming to the program after me and make it about me. But before I start, I want to say Happy Mother's Day first to my mother and to all mothers of Trinidad and Tobago. If it's TNM, UNC, what color you ever once you from Trinidad and Tobago and you're a mother, it's also no fathers display mother's role. So I want to wish all mothers of Trinidad and Tobago a blessed Mother's Day, and I hope that tomorrow will enjoy yourself peacefully, safe, inside, mask up, and social distance. Brother Mohammed, I want to thank you for your opening speech or your editorial, because it is, and I want to bring back the program how the way started. It is about livelihood. And to see that the Prime Minister come yesterday, once again, to put all the blame on the people of this country, Brother Mohammed, you are right. Put all the blame on the people of this country. There was a big party take place by Mandela Park, close to Sinclair Police Station, next to the police commissioner house, by the barracks there. It was in the middle, and nobody in the music, nobody in see the cars at them pack up. Sorry for laughing. Nobody see the cars at them pack up. By Mandela Park. May God bless Mandela. May God bless Mandela wherever he is. A true proud African. I bow and I kiss Mandela's foot. He's a true brother to African around the world. I respect him. My heart go out to him wherever he has him. But I hope he's in a good place in heaven with Manning. So it's here, and Brother Mohammed, I agree with saving life, putting measure in place to save life. I agree with that. But why is we starting to lock down and send home people, Brother Mohammed? Where is the hampers? 25,000 hampers is not enough. Of course not. We need by start we need 100,000 hampers to start to give out to the people and them, Brother Mohammed. Brother Mohammed, most of all, the people from KFC, Subway, Pizza Boys, all these African people who work Pizza Boys, KFC, they go on home. They have bills to pay. They sell texting them every 5 minutes. Courts texting them. online pay. They want them to go and pay online. Still, no matter they can go outside, they want the money to transfer. So poor people, right now, paying for them. But Mohammed, I also want to say that I hear Dr. Rowdy talking about old age pension and public assistance. I want to tell Dr. Rowdy something. Eric Williams, the father of the nation, Dr. Eric Williams, the father of the nation, it was no problem to pay pension and public assistance. The people who can see, people who can walk, people who have vital heart problems, people who can work. I mean, we have to pay it. We don't quit a grant and say it's a grant and the government no. This is the people of this country. Well, you have to pay it. And so this is not coming on the airwave and boast and making sure I pay pension and making sure I pay public assistance. Since in 1952, since in Dr. Eric Williams days, Chambers continue it. Also, N.R. Robinson continue it. Also, Bazio Pandit continue it. Also, Patrick Manning continue it. And I'm also the uncle of the nation, Patrick Manning. He is the uncle of the nation, Patrick Manning. And the mother of the nation also continued. She increased it. And she make it into a pension. And when the government come in power, they make it into a grant where they can spin it and turn it around. Dr. Rowdy, please don't ever go and boast that you paid our senior citizens. They pay taxes, they work hard, and they serve this country very well. But Mohammed, it's sad to see that I hear Kola say that they never see the terror, the I think stand up for the doctor who lost his life. I want to tell Kola he wrong. I never see all this stand up to all your party and to all your minister. Isn't that the minister? He's a Indian. And I have to be real, you think he have a heart for that doctor? When you look at me and you think he's seen an Indian? I'm sorry to say it so. These people never stand up. So don't blame the minister of health and say that he never stand up. As I close, Brother Mohammed,
yep.
I see that Dr. Rowdy talk about the promenade. And I talk about the promenade. I saw the commissioner run down the banner promenade to show, hey, August is coming, August is coming, so I have to get back renew. And one thing catch me, Brother Mohammed, and I hope you observed that yesterday in the press conference. Why the hell Stoughton was speaking into our health Ministry of National Security press conference?
Yeah, right. Well, we did mention that. I mentioned that at the very beginning.
Yeah, because Brother Mohammed, why the minister?
Right. I have no idea. I am the last person to have that answer.
Disrespect.
Yeah, but thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your call. Though, caller, thanks for holding. Are you there?
Yes, good morning to you, Brother Mohammed.
Good morning, my brother.
Well, as usual, I do listen, and I listen carefully to you say. Brother Mohammed, this is not a time to cut Dr. Rowdy. Call Dr. Rowdy name and told she causing COVID. And God does move in a mysterious way. You remember the last time I called in on the show, and I said, impotent, and I made a mistake, and you corrected me, and I was. That was a big subject for a caller, although I had committed a sin.
What was that?
You remember the last time I said that the opposition leader said that Mr. Hines is an impotent fool, when I should have said incompetent.
Right. I remember saying, I doubt very much that word would have been used.
Yeah, but today he's saying Dr. Williams coming at 1952. But David, when you know Eric Williams came in power, 1956, not so?
Yes, that was when the PNM was launched, January 24th, 1956.
Life is a funny thing, boy. You want to attack your black brother, as you just say, and you come to me already for rescue, my brother, I don't hate you, but sometimes it'll be off target by saying, Miss Kamala will set the mother of the nation and bring she back. Oh God, all you have to be careful, boy. You know, Brother David, let me come back to this subject. I listened to you this morning and I agree with you. Lots of things that you said and you know, it's an educating factor when I listen to you. And you know, from a long time, Brother David, that we has been together. When I say together, we correspond with each other, we listen to each other, we hear us. That has nothing to do with politics. Now, I have been listening to you. A lot of people believe that the great America could do no wrong. America all had this COVID vaccine wrong. You remember that? You remember one time they saying, you don't have to wear your mask, and all sorts of different things. This is something that has taken the world in shock. And when we draw references, I hear you talk about the Cubans and all that, and these people and them seems to be the only people who, medically in the world, under all the struggle and all the sanctions, was able to get out of it and wind out of it to some extent, Brother David. And then, Brother David, I hear you mention Muhammad Ali. Brother David, Muhammad Ali has not gotten enough praise. Muhammad Ali is one of the great black persons that walk the earth. This man sacrificed his own ambition as a boxer for his people. We don't talk much about him, but he is one of the great ones. Went away for 3 years and a half and came back. And I say today, Brother David, I must say thank you very much for allowing me this contribution. I was brought up in a house of ethics and manners, Brother David. That is why I always try to be factually right. I could be wrong, but God don't sleep. Eric Williams came in 1956, my brother, not 1952. Just remember, I have a school. You could come to my school. I follow Brother David right through. Every Saturday morning, once God is spare my life, I do listen. If not at home, in the radio or my phone. Thank you very much, Brother David, for allowing me this contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Yes, hello, good morning.
All right, let me try to sort that out. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling for a little problem that I am having. I took this boy.
All right, please try and call back. Really interested to hear what you have to say. Remember, you can also send messages by 3320214. Caller, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum. Tena Yestelin. Windama Hakim, my brother. Good morning, good morning. Nice day.
Walaikum salam.
Beautiful day, man. Nice rain, plenty rain. But before I go, see what I have to say. Let me say something. You see your sister? I think she's from Bataria. If I was close to her, I would hug her so tight for her intelligence and her foresight. You understand? That you wouldn't believe. At least the way brother used to do sisters long ago. You see what she spoke about with the Minister of Health and the so-called hypocrisy, talk about people wearing the mask under the chin. Gabriella, you understand? Gabriella, up till now, my heart feel the pain for that young African sister. You understand? That you dismissed and you went and reinstated the Indian girl that lied and said that she got robbed. You say that you went down, you as police investigator, you went down St. James Infirmary and saw the guards with the head down. Understand? So I don't know what that have to do with she lying and saying she got robbed. And it was proven that she didn't get robbed. But you make sure you say the government can spend all that money and let her go. But Gabriela, you understand, still on the streets, you understand, so still working, you understand, but the African, watch him very carefully. He speak with two tongues. He said when he came into power as a minister, it hurts him to see people with greasy bag and soft drink on a morning. The other day, you know what he said the other day? He promoted doubles the other day on one of his thing there. You understand? Watch them carefully. If you don't have the two there, you can't see them. You understand? But David, another thing is this. That trend of thought going. Anyway, that is one of the things I want to say. Oh, the next thing is this. I said it before. They even talk about it. China is giving you money. You know what kind of project in your country. China have a vaccine. You cannot go and buy from India. You have to buy from China. That is understood. Yeah, you understand. They come and say there were 100,000 from China, and then you can't get an excuse or all kind of thing. They have to take it from China. If you don't understand politics and you work for the health of it, they have to take it from them. My money invested in your country, and you go and buy this from India? You're crazy or what? You understand? Right. The real thing I want to get into this morning, program they had running on television with Zainab Badawi. It seems like she worked with the BBC. She had a program running on African history. But oh, sorry. I was eating a piece of pineapple. Yeah. African history. It run from, I think, November or sometime started running a few months ago. Every week she said it. And she went into African history from antiquity coming up the road, Brother David. And let me tell you something. They show you the priest, the church, the priests and them, is there, some of them, they are the ones who go across in Africa to convert the people over there. You understand? But what they were doing, they were sending back information to Europe in how to conquer these people. They went with the cross on the chest, and they were showing them how to teach them with how to conquer countries in Africa. That is what they were doing. These people, they show you warriors, Brother David, warriors that fought against these people. They are Shantis, you understand? The Zulu, you understand? And Zinga, all over Africa. They're telling now, like, when you hear like Africa, they had some collaborators, you understand? But they give you the impression as those of Africa, you understand, accepted them when they came in. There was big wars, and what they did, the guns that they came in at first, and they give you guns, you understand? And they come with a high-powered rifle after that, so your gun couldn't kill them. But remember, you know what I saw Fela Kuti ran some son on that African history. I saw his son speaking about his father, how his father said Africa one day will come together. I saw one of the Momo, the last survivor of the Momo, I saw him, you understand, when I interviewed him. And you know what he said? He said, they said, beat them, from 8 to 10 every day. They get licks before they get porridge. You know what it is? They used to do the women get hot bottles and set it up inside of them, Brother David. Brother David, that history is supposed to be revealed. That is to show the wickedness that these people and them did. Europe, you understand, they did unto our people. And they enslaved you in Africa also. They didn't brought out slave out of Africa and to the Caribbean and brought them and this place in America. They were slavery in Africa. They work them for nothing. But it's something I wish that I would call sometime when I call and ask if that program could be shown again. You understand? That is and that remind me of the Emancipation Support Committee. When every November there's an African History Month invention, and all people don't look at it, you know. Then they say support committee don't do nothing for nobody. They show the invention and the Africans did. You understand? But they don't look at it. But I am a man. Let me tell you something. See intelligence, as I say, when I die, I will not die an ignorant person. You understand? I must die an intelligent person. There's a warrior that said something, Brother David. What a great warrior. I can't remember if it's a male or a female. But you know what he said? You cannot enslave a mind that value itself. You cannot enslave a mind that value itself. You see that sister from that spoke first. I like to. You see intelligence, Brother David. I would die for people for intelligence, and just so I love intelligence, and so I hate ignorance. You understand, Brother David? Have a good day, all the best. You understand?
Thank you.
For your holiday coming up here. You understand? And people, my people, intelligence. Educate yourself. Don't get trapped with this politics. You understand? Politicians see for themselves, and because all of them, they drink and knock glass together, and you fighting whenever when they come. Have a good day. Reach out safe, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much, caller. Good morning.
My brother, you know one I want to find out something. No, the citizens of the world is going out and somebody right. You want to get the people speaking of this stuff.
Caller, I'm not hearing you very clearly.
Hello? Hello?
Go on. Go ahead.
Right. No. The citizens are coming back home, right? Do they have to get a doctor from out there with a test they take to come back in the country? Huh?
Right. Well, I believe once you're traveling from anywhere to go into any country, you have to have a negative test that would have yielded results within the last 72 hours.
Right.
But at the same time, I think there are a lot of discussions by various governments around the world as over exactly what requirements there would be, because of course the issue on the table right now is the vaccine, whether or not someone should have what is called a vaccine passport in order to travel. So a lot of these things are still being ironed out.
All right. Now, if you have a doctor paper, right, and you're coming back home to your country, right, do they take a COVID? Do they give you a COVID test or just a random test, you know, your blood pressure, your blood, whatever? Or your what do you call it? When they test you with the gun, when you're doing them so something, your signs is like it's low, you know. Is it that because here what happened, Mr. Mono, here what happened, my brother? A friend of mine was coming in on a flight. One of the girls on the flight was her birthday, right? No. Everything happy birthday to her, they give her bong something. When they reach and they give her a testing, they find she temperature low and thing, and you know. They give her the COVID test now, and she was tested positive. When they watched the doctor paper, it was a forged doctor paper she had.
Well,
you understand?
Listen, we already know there's a lot of that kind of thing going on anyway, even outside of COVID before
and
COVID.
these are the things what's spreading the virus. If you understand what I'm telling you. Because she was going home, after 7 days in quarantine, she was going home to have a birthday party because they didn't plan the birthday party and things. So you see what would have happened. So these are the things. They have to what? They have a lot of forged doctor paper with people coming in and you know, they might show the signs and thing, but after 40 days, you know, or 2 or 3 weeks, you know, then they will see signs. But these are the things what happen in community, and people coming home, easy with it, and they don't know, and they got spreading. And this is something the government has to watch. My friend will go there.
Thank you, sir. All right. Good morning, caller.
Hello, morning, brother.
Good morning.
And to the listeners. Well, when is the ending of Ramadan?
Thursday is Eid, so it ends on Wednesday. Wednesday is the last day of fasting. Thursday is expected to be Eid.
All right, brother. I try to give all the idea, but it's real hard to fast for this soon, yeah.
Give us a day, right? Okay.
Yeah, what I'm telling you. God be it all you. It's something that I admire. I told you that before. Yes. That discipline and what it really represents in terms of, you know, raising the frequency of your reception. Because like I always say, the brain is a receiver and a transmitter. But what I want to ask is, I just want to say something. I'm not seeing this judgment, this bacchanal revolution, right? So I want to issue a little clarity on call that we must in our minds meditate on how are we going to continue decent civil living as the economic system deteriorates. Because I want to believe that there was a caller that said, this is not, the lockdown is not taking away rights or slavery or anything. I forget the caller. I want to big him up. He said that this is freedom. This is what freedom looks like. But the thing about it is that human beings don't really concentrate on what enslavement is, if you understand. So here we are presented with an opportunity to bring a new, how to put it, boy, I just call it a race, all right? I'm not contradicting nothing that it has been seen, but a race of people is really the mindset, your mentality, and how you identify with creation as a collective. And one of the weirdest things, one of the most illogical things that beset us is how illogical it is that one set of human beings constantly in a state of killing each other then. If you expand your awareness and your consciousness, there's a school of thought that says that we are the only species that exists in the galaxy that does do that. That is kill out one another then. So I'm trying to say that most of the human problems, most of the problems that beset humans is not really of a human origin, because it is illogical for a species to be so hateful and murderous towards one another. That I in my growing up since I was small, I'm trying to imagine the logic of it, and it really isn't logical. And we have to learn to survive. Humans have to learn to survive without the systems that we think that we need that does make us suffer when it fails then, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So I just want to say to all the brothers, and then in case things get worse, robbing and killing is not an option. Somehow we had to try to reach a place where, for instance, education. Look at what education is attached to. Education is attached to the economic system. So you want to tell me if the economic system fails, the acquiring knowledge as a doctor or as a scientist or as a will fail because an economic system fails? So we just have to reprogram our our polarity of thinking in terms of what any reason where we develop ourselves. You doing it too, where you develop, you given knowledge. Knowledge is the only thing you just wake up on the other side with when your eyes close in this dimension. And what you're doing is correct. But somehow what we have to do is whatever we learn or whatever our pursuit must be able to aid in the survival of the human, of the species, if you understand what I'm saying, because people are underestimating, the scale of what it is really taking place. And I hear some brothers talking about, it go get real hard and just no man go start to jump out. I just want to tell brothers, that is not really what this happening here is all about. Right? I wanted to chuck in that as we go along now. And however, whatever development that we develop ourselves, whatever knowledge, yes, you have to survive and get money and save it, but it must be attached into how the human will continue as this economic system fails. And I find I'm not getting any narrative in terms of how we're going to function, what system will it have in place in terms of, our needs and our wants as human beings, as that dollar start to go down the drain, which I don't think people believe it happening, but that is what it really is about. It is freedom that we have here right now, but we don't understand that is how it does look over the millenniums. This is the 6th generation of humans that actually facing global extinction level events. And we need to objectify ourselves a little more to see how we will base knowledge in terms of remaining civil, not murdering one another and killing one another, not going about the place, because to all them robbers are out there, all of we robbers, we just decide not to rob, and we decide that we will survive in another means. So don't feel only going to start to jump out if things crumble. We have to remain decent and have to apply all the knowledge that we have towards the existence of the human beings wherever we are. Have a nice day, brother. Thank you for allowing me this.
Thank you, my brother. Caller, good morning.
Yes, my brother. You see that brother when I talk there? I love to hear him talk. I think he does much the same bit. What I said about the freedom on the lockdown is that the lockdown brings freedom. You see, this virus teaches the opposite. You understand? That's what the universe, that's what we learn from. The opposite. That's how we gain knowledge. The lockdown is freedom from the virus that plague the earth, and also from the follies that destroy the life of man on earth. That is the freedom we're getting from the lockdown. It teaches opposite. You understand? If people really go into themselves and sit down and study, you know what's happening in these times. You know, you're getting back time. The time you're taking the time and to do this and to do that. You're getting back time for his father. You understand? A book to read. Gain knowledge. You know? These are things we have to see through them. We must watch things as, you know, is a thing is a virus. We don't know that already. But what they're doing about it towards yourself, the upliftment of yourself. You understand? The time when the system was taken away from you, you're getting it back. That's what I mean, my brother. It's not what God likes.
Thank you, my brother. All right, it is 8:48 in Trinidad and Tobago on this very special Saturday morning. It's very rainy outside, so please be careful on the roads. And as we're in the last few days of fasting for the month of Ramadan, you know, let's make it a very, very special closing. We have 4 days left of fasting: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And today, you could say, makes it 5, but it's a time prayer is required for the nation. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am again.
Yes, good morning.
I just want to tell the brother I received the hug. I got the hug. But,
right. Okay.
yes. Just
A
like
virtual
him,
hug.
Yes,
Right.
I got it. Just like him, you feel his passion about his people. You feel it, you sense it. And I would say I'm just like him, because I know what is going on with my people. I know that everybody has one intention: to destroy us. To destroy the people who gave them everything that is good. You know? And that is why your program to me, to put it simply, is sacred. Your energy, all that you have done and constantly doing and will be doing as long as you have life, it is sacred. And I compliment you about it over and over. So for when people come on this program and with sneaky agenda of politics, it is painful, Brother Mohammed. This is a place where we uplift Africans. We come with ideas. You were talking about an academy for young African men with role models, and you, with that you are followed by name calling of politicians and nonsense, trivia nonsense that you can take somewhere else. This is not the program for that, for crying out loud. Come here with ideas. Come here with what you're going to volunteer, what you're going to do. But no, insulting our intelligence with this sneaky approach with politics all the time, it is too much. And I plead, please stop it. Thank you again.
I hear you. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Well, I would guess, ma'am, that would be up to the host. But, Brother Mohammed, have you seen what happened, what Israel did to the Palestinians yesterday with in their mosque?
Yeah, I heard about it, yes.
All right. Have you seen that Russia is deciding to turn back some bronze statue that it took since 1896 or somewhere around there to Africa? And I had one more point, but don't make me forget. Yes, Stance, you talk about politics, but you see, that was part of the agenda this morning. I heard Brother Mohammed talk about politics, and then your brother Kingsley come, and we're talking about black people. But
all right, could I ask that we don't, unless it's from a complimentary position, that we refrain from making reference to other callers by name, at least? Could we work with that?
My last point is this. I heard we talk about the Minister of Health being an Indian and not looking after the African doctor. But the same person who used that statement is supporting a lady that he calls mother. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers. That he calls mother. Isn't she of the same race? So think, all who talking about black people, we are using black people to destroy black people. Enjoy your morning, Brother Mohammed.
All right, thank you. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, blessings.
Two points out to me. One is that the Brazilian trainers in the country, it's alleged that the Venezuelan bring it in, but you're not saying how much Venezuelan that have that training in the country at this point. The other point is the WHO say in order for you to open your borders, you have to vaccinate, which is what the Prime Minister said. 700,000 people, half the population, and they also said that they get in 100,000 vaccines. WHO said in order for you to get vaccine, you have to be on a list, a critical list. That list is you have to have a spike in the country for a certain amount of people with the COVID vaccine. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, last caller. The countdown is on, but we'll still take your call. Just a few seconds.
My brother.
Yes.
You know, I want to send out some love to a personal sister. Jump to a rescue with a Chinaman trying to raw fight this weekend here. I go on by the Chinaman, go straight. The Chinaman start coasting on me. I try to explain the man something. The man looking to raw fire on a rest side. It's a good thing a sister come in and tell him. You don't hear what the youth man tell you? The man tell you this is that and that is that.
All right. I hope we could maybe talk about that a bit more tomorrow. I'll be back on tomorrow for the Black Agenda. Remember, Saturday mornings, 7 to 9, and Sunday afternoons, 4 to 6. Stay tuned to the Street 919 FM. Talk to you tomorrow. May Almighty God Allah continue to bless you. Ramadan Mubarak and Assalamu Alaikum.
Saturday.